Hello, and welcome to the Lipids and Your Lifestyle webinar. My name is Maya Cater. I'm a dietetic intern, and today we're going to be talking about whole grains. So we're going to cover an overview of what whole grains are and the benefits they offer, different types of whole grains, some tips for shopping, incorporating them into your meals, and storing whole grains, and then we're going to look at some recipes. Whole grains are a big component of the Mediterranean diet. The daily goal for males is 10.4 ounces of whole grains a day, and for females, that's 8.9 ounces. And for those of you who do not count their whole grains in ounces, that would be equal to 3 to 6 servings of either one slice of bread or half a cup of cooked grains or starchy veggies. So that would be like oatmeal, whole wheat pasta, brown rice, a potato, or green peas. And some quick tips for incorporating more whole grains into your diet would be to, when you're reading the ingredient label, make sure that it says either whole wheat or whole grain as the first ingredient. You can try a new whole grain each week or each month. There's so many different types, so that's really something that's easy to do. And then also substituting popcorn for other salty snacks. Popcorn is a whole grain, and it's really delicious and yummy. So a whole grain means it contains all three parts of the grain seed. So that would be the bran, which is the outer layer, the endosperm, which is the inner part, and then the germ, which is the core of the seed. And the bran is really rich in fiber. It also has a lot of vitamins and minerals, and a good amount of antioxidants and phytochemicals. The endosperm really just has carbohydrates. It has a little bit of protein and a little bit of B vitamins and minerals. And then the germ is really high in healthy fats. It has a good amount of vitamins in there, and it also has phytochemicals and antioxidants. So during processing, the bran and the germ are removed, and this results in what's called a refined grain. So you can see down at the bottom, the seed has the bran on the outside, the kind of medium colored brown, and then the light brown is the endosperm, and then the dark brown is the germ. And when it goes through refinement, the bran and the germ are stripped away, leaving only the endosperm. And this is called a refined grain. So when you're looking at nutrition labels or food packages, it will just say like regular wheat or flour or pasta. All of those things like white bread are made with this refined grain. And this removes valuable nutrients, especially fiber, B vitamins, and antioxidants, which were kind of housed in the bran and in the germ that are no longer there. So one of the things that whole grains are a good source of is fiber. And fiber is important because it supports bowel regularity. It helps you maintain normal cholesterol levels and normal blood glucose levels. So it stabilizes your blood sugar. And then it increases satiety and fullness. So you will feel fuller for longer, and you won't find yourself getting really hungry even though you just ate something. And the recommended intake of fiber is 38 grams for men and 25 grams for women. So B vitamins are also something that are found in whole grains. And B vitamins help with a lot of different body processes. They're important in energy production. They help with genetic processes like making DNA. They're important for your nervous system to function properly. They are really good for your heart health. They also play a role in metabolizing carbohydrates, and they also are important to recycle antioxidants, which help reduce inflammation. And overall, all of these processes keep you happy and healthy for a long time. So when you're looking at a plate, whole grain should be about 1/4 of your plate. The other a half of your plate should be made up of vegetables and fruits. And then the other 1/4 of your plate is lean proteins. And then whole grain should be about 1/4 of your plate. So this is equal to about 1/2 cup of cooked grains. There are a lot of whole grains out there. Some of them you may have heard of, like corn, oatmeal, brown rice, and quinoa. Others you might never have heard of, such as teff, fonio, freekeh, bulgur, sorghum, and triticale. No matter what, you can definitely find something that works for you. If buying just the grain to cook yourself makes you a little bit nervous, you can always look for things that are made with whole grains. Like soba noodles are made with whole grain buckwheat, and roti is a flatbread-like product made in India and typically made with whole wheat flour. Now we're going to look at the difference between a slice of Nature's Own honey wheat bread versus Nature's Own 100% whole grain bread. As you can see, the serving size for both is 1 slice. It's important to know whether the two products that you're comparing have the same or different serving sizes. Different serving sizes means you might have to do some math in order to get comparable products. As you can see from these nutrition facts, the 100% whole grain bread has 1 gram more of fiber, at least, than the honey wheat bread, and additionally also has 1 more gram of protein. Although this may not seem like a lot, remember that both fiber and protein help keep us satiated for longer and feeling full throughout the day. Now we're going to look at quinoa, whole wheat pasta, and farro. As you can see, all of the serving sizes are different for each grain, so keep that in mind as we go through the nutrition facts. The serving size for quinoa is 45 grams of dry quinoa. This will provide 3 grams of dietary fiber and 6 grams of protein. For whole wheat pasta, the serving size is 56 grams. This provides 7 grams of dietary fiber and 8 grams of protein. For farro, the serving size is only 28 grams, which is about half the serving size of whole wheat pasta. And with this, you're getting 2 grams of dietary fiber and 3 grams of protein. So based on these labels, we would probably say that the whole wheat pasta is the best choice because it provides the most fiber and the most protein. But we just have to keep in mind that this serving size is the biggest, so we would have to eat the most of that item in order to get those nutrients. All whole grains have different nutrient profiles, but all provide health benefits. Pick the one that works best for you and your lifestyle. Another great way to add whole grains into your diet is by making oatmeal. It's quick and easy to make, and you can enjoy it at home or on the go. There are many different types of oats to choose from at the grocery store, including instant oats, quick oats, old-fashioned oats, and steel-cut oats. The difference between these types of oats is in how they're processed. Instant oats are the most processed, which is why they can be prepared so quickly, with steel coats being the least processed, which is why they take a little bit more time. As you can see from the nutrition labels, each type of oat has a similar amount of fiber and protein, but the instant oats has a smaller portion size. The instant oats also contain 75 milligrams of sodium, while the quick oats, old-fashioned oats, and steel-cut oats contain 0 milligrams of sodium. When choosing the type of oatmeal to get, we recommend the quick oats or old-fashioned oats because they are less processed, contain less sodium, but can still be prepared quickly in the microwave. Steel-cut oats are also a good choice, but cannot be prepared in the microwave. When choosing whole grains from the grocery store, they should always be the first ingredient. On the left, we have the Nature's Own 100% whole wheat bread. As you can see, whole wheat flour is the first ingredient. On a product label, ingredients are listed by weight. So the first ingredient will be the biggest component of that product, which is why we want it listed first. As you can see on the right, in the Nature's Own honey wheat bread, unbleached enriched flour is the first ingredient. Enriched flour is still a refined grain, but it means that vitamins and minerals have been added back in. With whole grains, vitamins and minerals do not need to be added back in because they're present in the bran and in the germ of the seed. With enriched flour, that's been stripped away during the refinement process, and so they have to be added back in order for you to get those vitamins and minerals. But some things that are not added back in during the enrichment process are things like fiber. So whole wheat or whole grain products are still preferred over enriched flour because it contains all of the nutrients found in the original seed. Most grocery stores offer a variety of whole grains. This includes whole wheat pasta, whole wheat bread, oatmeal, but also quinoa and farro. Other less common whole grains can be found in cultural grocery stores and can also be ordered online. For easy shopping and to save money, you can always buy whole grains in bulk or in large containers. Whole grains are easy to batch cook ahead of time, so if you're buying in bulk or in large amounts, it's also easy to cook the whole grains in large amounts and then to store for later. If you're cooking large amounts of whole grain at one time, you can use some of your whole grains and meal prep for the week, and then they can be stored in the fridge. The rest of your whole grains you can store in individual containers in the freezer. Most grains are cooked using a 1-to-2 ratio. This means you measure out 1 part grain, that can be a cup or 2 cups, however much you need, and then 2 parts water. So if you used 1 cup for grain, then you're going to use 2 cups for water. If you are cooking 2 cups of grain, then you're going to need 4 cups of water. Always read the directions for cooking your whole grain before doing so. Meal prepping with whole grains is easy to do, whether you're making breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Bowls and salads are easy to make for lunch or dinner meals. For bowls, you're going to want to add your whole grain, and then a lean type of protein, and your favorite vegetable. For salads, your base will be leafy greens, along with your favorite lean protein and a whole grain. For breakfast, we want to see a whole grain plus protein, and then either a fruit or a vegetable. And once you have these bases, you can personalize your meal by adding in toppings such as nuts and seeds, dried fruit, cheese, croutons, sauces, spices, or dressings. Now let's look at some breakfast examples. Our formula for breakfast was a whole grain, a protein, and either a fruit or a vegetable. Our first example is a whole grain waffle with Greek yogurt and a banana. In this example, we have our whole grain, which is the waffle, our protein, which is the Greek yogurt, and a fruit, which could be a banana or another fruit. Our next example is oatmeal, walnuts, and an apple. In this example, walnuts are acting as the protein, and oatmeal is the whole grain. And you could also do a whole grain toast with eggs and a different type of vegetable such as spinach or peppers or broccoli. For grain bowls, we want to include a whole grain, a protein, and a vegetable. So our first example is farro, Brussels sprouts, and tofu. Here, our tofu is acting as the protein, farro is our whole grain, and the vegetable is Brussels sprouts. Next, we have brown rice with onions and peppers and ground turkey. And then our last example is quinoa, your favorite vegetables, and salmon. Remember, you can also add different toppings to these bowls, like dressings, nuts, seeds, or cheese. Whole grains also make great snacks. Some examples include whole grain crackers, such as wheat thins or Triscuits, and hummus, plain air-popped or stove-popped popcorn and fruit, and whole grain toast and avocado. If you're buying whole grains in bulk, you may need to store them. Whole grains are shelf-stable, which means they can last long periods of time as long as they're stored properly. For dry grains, store them in a cool, dry place in an airtight container, and you can store them for up to 6 months. But note that whole wheat flour may go bad faster than regular flour, so be sure to check it before you use it. For grains that you've cooked, such as those you're using for meal preps, store them in the fridge in an airtight container for 3 to 4 days. If you've made extra grains while meal prepping and you need to store them in the freezer, they can be stored in individual bags for up to 2 months and can be stacked on top of one another as seen in the picture. Now we're going to look at some easy recipes you can incorporate whole grains into. Overnight oats are easy to make and can be prepped days in advance. All you need is a half a cup of old-fashioned oats, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, a half a cup of soy or another milk, a fourth of a cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt, a half a cup of raspberries, 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder, and a half teaspoon of maple syrup. Click on the demonstration video to follow along as I make this simple, healthy breakfast. These granola bars are a great snack to have and packed full of whole grains. You'll need a third of a cup of dried cranberries, 3 cups of old-fashioned oats, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, a third cup of slivered almonds, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a third of a cup of honey, 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 egg. Click on the demonstration video for a full tutorial of how to make these bars. Stovetop popcorn is so easy to make and can be topped with so many different things. All you need is a third of a cup of popcorn kernels and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Check out the demonstration video on how to make this movie snack. This quinoa is packed full of flavor and can be paired with so many different things. I paired it with chicken and broccoli, but the possibilities are endless. All you need is 1 cup of quinoa, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, a half a teaspoon of dried oregano, a fourth of a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/4 cup of fresh parsley or another herb. Take a look at the demonstration video for how to make this quick and delicious recipe. This tabbouleh salad was so fresh and flavorful. All you need is a cup and a quarter of farro, 1 cucumber, 1 15-ounce can of chickpeas, 4 scallions, a half a cup of chopped parsley, a fourth of a cup of mint leaves, a fourth of a cup of olive oil, a fourth of a cup of lemon juice, and 4 ounces of feta cheese. For the full steps on how to make this, click on the demonstration video. Thank you.